In many homes, I can't say all or most, but in many homes, there is probably at least one bottle of hydrogen peroxide. It's inexpensive, you get it in the first aid aisle, and it always comes in a brown bottle. And there's a reason behind that, which I will get into in a minute. But hydrogen peroxide is a really powerful cleaner, even though you probably don't think of it that way. You probably think it's more of a first aid product. So in this video, we are gonna go through a multitude of ways that you can employ this humble liquid in your regular cleaning routine. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you like a cleaning hack that actually works. Two quick things to know about using hydrogen peroxide. First, it always comes in a brown bottle because the second this liquid becomes exposed to sunlight, it becomes unstable. It separates, it doesn't do what it's intended to do. So whenever you're making anything with hydrogen peroxide in it for the intention of cleaning, make it on demand and dump it when you're done. So only whip up as much as you need. Next up, you should also be mindful of the surfaces that you're using this on and test it in a hidden area first, because hydrogen peroxide can have the same properties that oxygen bleach or even chlorine bleach has in terms of being able to alter color, which is why it is a popular stain remover. So test in a hidden area before you use it on the whole shebang. Many years ago, you might have seen a popular recipe going around Pinterest called the Dawn Miracle Cleaner. It was essentially 2 parts hydrogen peroxide, 1 part Dawn dish soap. Now, it can be any dish soap, quite frankly, although Dawn does work really well, so do other dish soaps. The most important thing here is that you treat the stain the way you would treat any stain. So first you remove all the stain material first by scraping and blotting. You always want to treat a dry stain. Then you can apply this stain remover product using a cleaning toothbrush, gently brush it in. You don't want to overuse product because you're going to have to do more cleaning up afterward anyway. And then just have a clean cloth with water so that you can quickly blot and rinse that stain area. This is one of those areas that you would want to test in an inconspicuous area first before you take it and remove a stain, say on a piece of clothing, on a sofa, or on a carpet. Glass cutting boards are pretty impervious to odors, but plastic and wood, you've been there, you know they get smelly. And if you notice that your cutting board is smelly, it's telling you that there is some bacteria on that surface that needs to be dealt with. So a really easy way to deal with it is to use straight hydrogen peroxide, spray it on the surface, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. Then give your cutting board a good cleaning with soap and water, rinse it well, and allow it to dry. The hydrogen peroxide used straight will definitely take care of that odor-causing bacteria. And some people, what they will do so that they can just quickly access their bottle of hydrogen peroxide is they will remove the screw cap altogether and put on a spray bottle nozzle and leave that with their cleaning arsenal. So that way you still get the benefit of the hydrogen peroxide in a brown bottle, but you have it in a much easier to use application. Garbage cans, recycling bins, and compost bins can get pretty smelly, whether they're the ones that you keep inside your home or in your garage or at the side of your house. So a great way to deal with those bad odors, which are caused by bacteria, by the way, is to first and foremost make sure they're clean. So if that means just giving them a wipe down, fine, do it. But really what we're talking about here is using straight hydrogen peroxide, spraying the interior of those bins and allowing that to sit for about 10 minutes. If it hasn't dried on its own, you can give it a wipe down. And when you do this, it will get rid of that odor-causing bacteria and help restore your otherwise smelly bins to a nice neutral state. If you get a blood stain on your clothing or bedding, period, cut, otherwise, having a bottle of hydrogen peroxide in your bathroom to deal with that stain is such a quick and easy fix, and it really works because once a blood stain sets in, it is so hard to get out. So here's what to do. As soon as you notice that blood stain, remove the garment, pour a little bit of hydrogen peroxide onto the area, and you should notice almost immediately that that blood stain just dissipates. You might even notice some bubbling. So I let that sit for a minute, and then I rinse it off with cool water, and I will repeat until it's pretty much gone. Then I will launder the item and it washes out perfectly clean. The most important thing with blood stains is that you catch it quickly, but hydrogen peroxide, it'll solve that problem for you. You might have heard me talk about something called toilet plume before. Just sit on that one for a minute. If you don't know what toilet plume is, it's the spray that comes out of your toilet every time you flush it. And yes, if your oral health care implements or otherwise are 6 feet or less away from the toilet, you can expect with reasonable certainty that some of that toilet plume is going to land, say, on your toothbrush or your face care brush, whatever you got in your bathroom. Anyway, all that to say, you can make a simple solution of 3 parts water to 1 part hydrogen peroxide and use that as a soak for any of your oral health care implements or otherwise. So I like to do this. I have Invisalign, so I will throw them in there every now and then. I will do the same thing for my toothbrush head because I have an electric toothbrush. So you can kind of toss in any of your stuff that you want to make sure is clean and bacteria free. So you can toss it in there, let it soak for even up to 30 minutes, and then just give it a good rinse and a dry. And a really good habit to avoid toilet plume, just as an aside, close that lid before you flush. There are many types of kids' toys and many different ways to clean them. But let's say you just have a pile of those plastic toys, no batteries, no internal parts. There's a really easy way to clean and disinfect them. Take a bowl, fill it with a liter or a quart of water, add 1 cup of hydrogen peroxide, so that's a 4-to-1 mix, and you can put your toys in there for about 10 minutes and just let it sit. That is going to make them clean, get rid of any of those bacteria, viruses, or germs that you don't want on your toys. You rinse them, you allow them to dry, and you put them back into the mix. For those of us who wear makeup, you do know that you have to clean your beauty tools on a somewhat regular basis. If you're someone that uses sponges to apply your makeup, those can be really hard to clean. So what I would recommend for that is to first and foremost clean with soapy water, and then you can do a soak for about 10 minutes in a 3-to-1 solution, 3 parts water, 1 part hydrogen peroxide. Let it soak for 10 minutes, and that is going to help kill any acne-causing bacteria that you would want to get rid of. Now, for brushes, you can clean those in soapy water as well, and then you can spray them with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, leave it for a minute or 2, rinse it, and dry. If you're concerned about the cleanliness of your produce when you come home from the grocery store, there's a simple produce wash you can put together. Simply fill a large bowl with a liter of water, that would be a quart of water for those of you on that system, and 1 cup of hydrogen peroxide. Then you can throw all of your produce in there and just let it soak for about 5 minutes. That is going to be an adequate amount of time for the hydrogen peroxide to deal with a lot of the germs and viruses and bacteria that might be existing on the surface of your produce. Then, really important, give it a good thorough rinse and allow everything to dry before putting it in the fridge or storing on the counter. We've talked about cleaning your produce. We're all kind of acutely aware of how dirty a grocery store can be, but do we ever really think about cleaning our reusable bags? Probably not. I'm answering my own questions here. So if you are someone who kind of thinks about those reusable bags and where they've sat and perhaps how dirty they might be, an easy way to clean them using hydrogen peroxide is to throw them into the washing machine with regular detergent and add a cup of hydrogen peroxide to the bleach compartment. Because hydrogen peroxide is known to be an effective disinfectant, according to the CDC, that can kill viruses, bacteria, and other types of germs. So if you throw some of that in, you can reasonably expect that your bags will come out not only cleaner, but free of any of that nasty stuff. Hydrogen peroxide is famous for its ability to whiten, which is why we love using it to clean grout. So a simple recipe for grout cleaning would be 2 parts baking soda to 1 part hydrogen peroxide. You can mix that up in a bowl. Remember, you only want to make up as much as you need to use at that time. You're going to apply it to your dirty grout with a cleaning toothbrush, let it sit for a few minutes, get that cleaning toothbrush back in action and start scrubbing the grout clean. Then rinse it with a clean cloth a few times, Baking soda tends to leave a little bit of grittiness behind, so you really have to focus on that. But your grout is gonna look. Hydrogen peroxide is also a great toilet bowl stain remover. That's exciting news. So take a cup of hydrogen peroxide, toss it into your toilet bowl, and then scrub with your toilet bowl brush as usual. You should notice that stains start to dissipate. You can leave it for a minute or two just to let it do its work, kind of spread it around. The most important thing here is not to mix hydrogen peroxide with any other products, so you want to do this as a standalone cleaning task. And that leads me to this week's comment question, which is, what use for hydrogen peroxide that I talked about today are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments down below. Personally, I feel very motivated to clean my makeup brushes because they are not looking so hot right now. So I'm just gonna give them the spa treatment once over with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. If you wanna see what we're up to during the rest of the week, you can follow along on Instagram. I'm at Melissa Maker, Chad is at the Chad Reynolds. We are all at Clean My Space, and our microfiber products are over at makers.clean. Here is a cleaning hacks playlist, all the cleaning hacks you can get your hands on. Make sure that you go check that out. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and begin your journey to a cleaner life. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.